What's up, chat? Coming here was a mistake. I'm glad that's the reaction we're getting. I hope that anybody who shows up at this stream immediately regrets their decisions deeply. That's all I ask out of the stream experience for you guys. It's just for you to feel deep regret for your choices that you made today. Balls screams at the start because of people who say the loathsome dung eater doesn't eat poop. Yeah, some asshole in my Discord was talking about how the loathsome dung eater actually doesn't eat shit, and I was like, I will not stand for such slander. George R.R. Martin had a vision when he wrote the character loathsome dung eater, and it was most definitely eating shit in the most literal sense. Just because Miyazaki was like, George, I think that's a little too straightforward. We want to keep the story more about like the chosen undead and stuff. Just because Miyazaki doesn't have the balls to understand George's artistic vision doesn't mean that we're gonna let him have it. No. In my mind, in my canon, the loathsome dung eater most definitely does eat shit. 100%. There's a really easy joke you could make involving the ear of an elven politician and a radical goblin that's a really bad shot. Honestly, I haven't been as entertained by the whole President Trump assassination situation as I thought I would be. It was like, holy shit for the first 3 hours, but like, the situation has, it has run out of new developments very quickly. I was actually much more interested in the whole whether Joe Biden or not will be forced by the Democratic Party to withdraw, which was like the daily headline every day before Donald Trump almost got shot. I found that way more interesting, actually. The Trump situation isn't as interesting as the news is making it out to be, because it's not really a particularly complex situation. It's just another gun violence issue in America, which happens like literally every single day. And it's not like the guy had like a huge manifesto or anything. I don't find it entertaining at all. More sad, if anything. Innocent people and all. There are no innocent people in America. We're all just here to get shot by each other. We're all just targets. Just gotta hope that some random bullet isn't gonna take off our head at any point. I mean, if you did a poll of all the people that attend a Trump rally and just happen to get shot, you'd probably have like 95% of them would definitely say that you just got hit by a dumbass with an AR-15. Do you think that we should ban AR-15s? They're definitely not gonna say that, so... Do you stylize Xana navel region? Shouldn't she have a slight amount of belly to accentuate the pubis mons? No. I'm gonna say no. As if banning AR-15s would do anything. It wouldn't do anything because there's already like 10 million AR-15s on the market. You'd have to actively start recovering them and like pulling them out of gun owners' cold dead hands, as they like to say, as Charleston Heston would say. So, yeah, they wouldn't do anything. There just isn't any kind of connection between getting shot in America and people thinking like we shouldn't have as many guns so we won't get shot. Like that mental connection doesn't really happen, so like I don't really care anymore. The most unrealistic part about Chainsaw Man is that the one of the sort of plot points of early Chainsaw Man Part 1 is that they're trying to kill the Gun Devil, and the settings about the Gun Devil is the Gun Devil is super powerful entity because there was a mass shooting in America which made everybody afraid of guns, which made the Gun Devil very powerful because the devils are, you know, powered by how much people fear the objects. And I was just like, God damn, I wish that was the case, but we've had like, you know, 1,000 mass shootings, and nobody's really afraid of guns at all. Certainly not enough to make the Gun Devil one of like the most powerful devils in existence. That's definitely not happening. If we're just going by Americans' fear of guns powering devils, then the Gun Devil would be about the same power level as the Chicken Devil that died an ignoble death in the first chapter of Part 2. The majority of Switzerland's population is armed and can even easily get automatic weapons, but they still have, like, no crime. Well, that's because you guys are a bunch of fucking loser Euro cucks, and you don't have the freedom that Americans enjoy. I feel like the Rape Devil would be very powerful. You know what would be really powerful? Airplane Devil. There's like a crazy number of people who are terrified of flying. Considering that, you know, planes almost never actually crash. Boeing Devil. Why the fuck would any rational human being need an automatic weapon, though? Like, what could you possibly be hunting? Wasn't there someone in the Discord, I'm guessing the one Republican we have in Discord, complaining about, or being happy that bump stocks got ruled by Supreme Court to banning bump stocks was illegal or some shit? I was just like, how can you be like, this is a huge win? Like, in what sort of situation is anybody besides someone who's gonna commit a mass shooting be like, thank God I have my bump stock? I mean, it probably fucks up accuracy really badly, just the way it works. So it's literally a tool that only works when you want to commit mass shootings. It's like, it's in every sense of like the tool is just like it's a mass shooting tool and that's it. It's only gonna help you when you want to like fire onto a crowd of people going to a music concert in Las Vegas or something. People are insane. I mean, American gun ownership has become so politicized that a lot of the stuff is just like my team is winning versus your team is losing type shit. Kind of similar to abortion, but even more than abortion. So it just like, it doesn't really matter at this point. You're laughing? I mean, the absurdity of people being like, oh, thank God we have bump stocks now. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to protect my home and wife and children without my fucking bump stock. Is kind of silly. I mean, if you're gonna allow bump stocks, just allow us to have automatic weapons. Like, then we can actually have fun. Already talked about Trump. I mean, there's not much else to say. Oh, I guess the other thing to talk about would be the fact that the guy looked about as much as a 4chan incel as you could possibly imagine, right? There's no way that guy wasn't on one of the 4chan boards. He was either a Redditor or a 4channer, and I'm thinking it's more likely he was a 4channer. Ball sounds different. It's probably just the mic distance or something. Japan being the US again, succeeding with less. Yeah, I mean, how many Americans are making their own shotguns? I was at the... When I initially heard about the Trump shooting and people were like, Japan is beating us again, I was like, yeah, but Japanese police force is way worse than American police force, so it's not fair to compare them. And then it came out that, like, the local police, everyone was trying to tell the local police that there was a shooter on the fucking building, and nobody coordinated with the special secret services, and Trump was just allowed to go up there and become a target. So I think they're pretty equal. They just got a little luckier, that's all. Also, Japan is doing a better job than America regarding this, I guess. Do you think Abe-san saved Trump through the power of friendship? I don't think Trump or Abe have friends, so no. Trump is a sociopathic narcissist. He doesn't really have any friends. And Abe is like a true politician who also doesn't have any friends, so no. They don't have any friendship. Why can we compare food instead? Why is American so dog shit at cooking? That's not true because America has immigrants, so America also has good food from other countries. If we keep on allowing immigration at our current rate, America will have good food in by 2040 or so. We just need to get the Latino population to be at a higher rate than the white population. That's all we need. Easy. That's just not fucking true, brother. Barbecue. America has good food when it comes to eating stuff that's bad for us. Just like unhealthy shit. Where else can you get deep fried butter on a stick than an American state fair? Does the elf on the right have an ahoge or does it mean nothing? It's an ahoge. She sort of has the same hairstyle as Cammy, if you think about it. Street Fighter 6 Cammy. It's a little different because she has the hairband, but... There's no such thing as American traditional cooking because America has no tradition. It's a country that was built by murdering all the natives 200 years ago. You could say that Southern cooking is traditional American cooking, I guess. A lot of what we count as traditional American cooking is like shit that people threw together in a microwave in the 50s, so... Hey, Gold Max. Thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate the support. Wrong. America is the oldest nation. President Franklin wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. Thank you. Do you watch any competitive fighting games? I used to watch a ton of competitive fighting games. I was a huge competitive FGC fan guy, and now I don't watch them at all. I started to reduce my amount, but One thing I really notice is that they're not really good for focusing when I'm drawing. There's just too much noise, and the announcers are just like too much hype screaming. So it doesn't have enough downtime, which is kind of what I need. And I can't really just sit and watch like an 8-hour or 10-hour or 30-hour long tournament over the weekend when I have to like draw 10,000 pages, right? So when you put all of that stuff together, the answer is no, I don't watch much fighting games now. I'll probably watch a bit of Evo. I used to get like super hyped for Evo and stuff, but I also wasn't drawing so seriously. I just don't really have much time for stuff that doesn't support my drawing habit at this point, unfortunately. It's a shame, but that's the way it is. I don't like listening to Mortal Kombat gameplay. The hitting sound, FX sound, too squishy. Mortal Kombat FX sound like thump, thump, thump when it's getting blocked, and then when it gets hits, it's like pa-chunk. I don't know. The animations of Mortal Kombat bothers me way more than the sound effects. I know it's like tradition, but human bodies don't move like that. Which is weird, because you could definitely say the same thing for Street Fighter, considering it features a sumo wrestler that flies at you horizontal to the ground without any kind of propulsion device. So that makes no fucking sense. And yet somehow the animations in Street Fighter don't feel weird, whereas the animations in Mortal Kombat just look like shit. They've always looked like shit, but it used to not bother you because, you know, you were playing on a fucking Sega Genesis. But in the year 2024, I see the animations and it just makes me want to gouge my eyes out, and it's so fucking bad. I don't understand how people can tolerate Mortal Kombat unless they have like a huge Yona Guro fetish and enjoy seeing hot girls get cut in half with like saw blade hats and stuff. Except now there's no more hot girls because they all have to be covered in burqas. So yeah, there really is nothing left for me for Mortal Kombat. I used to love watching Mortal Kombat when I was a kid. Shit looks so awesome. We're talking back in the day when you would go to the bowling alley and get some quarters from your parents while they were having a beer or something, and you would go to the fucking Mortal Kombat machine and immediately lose because the game was fucking hard, and then I would just watch the demo and I would fantasize about grabbing Jade's tits. Good times. And you know what? I'm still the same man. Nothing has changed. I still want to grab Jade's tits. Even if they censor her, in my mind I can still see them. You went to the arcade? Good shit. My mother was very much against letting me play video games. So when I was with my father, who was the quote-unquote fun parent, I got to go to the arcade and do arcade stuff. It was fun. What tits, bro? Delusional? I can see them in my mind's eye. I don't know. Mortal Kombat 3, it had pretty available boobs. I don't think they were non-existent. Mortal Kombat 3 Jade. This is the official artwork of the time. I mean, the boobs are somewhat there. It's good enough. It was good enough at the time for 8-year-old me, and it's good enough for the time for me now as well. I see some amount of cleavage. I will not let the low-quality illustrations from the 90s dissuade my boner. Look up MK9 Jade for comparison. Yes, we all know the Mortal Kombat 9 characters were extremely stacked and dressed like strippers. In retrospect, the artwork of Mortal Kombat was always shitty. I guess humanity is evolving forward, even if we have brief periods in which the stuff, we're going in a backward direction at the moment, but the technology, the artistry is going forward. I mean, it's American artwork, right? You can't expect them to be able to draw anything. It's America. Please forgive them. They are only Americans. The music, I don't know. This is just random music that's recommended to me by YouTube recommended videos. Oh, the best part of MK is the music, to be honest. It's one song. I can't even remember the music. It's all about the sound effects in Mortal Kombat, right? Finish her! It's about the atmosphere. You know, that shit was cool back in the day. When you were a 12-year-old, nothing was more awesome than the stuff that you got from Mortal Kombat. Oh man, it's so brutal, Shao Kahn! Like this weird Orientalist Chinese but not Chinese stuff. You're fighting in hell, you're punching people and they fall onto the spikes below and stuff. It's literally a world based around like the type of doodles that you would do in your notebook, your spiral notebook in middle school or something. That's what makes it so effective, you know? Test your might. I drew MK scrawlings back in mid-school and teacher tissed me for inappropriately violent inclinations. Yeah. If it was my case, I would probably be sent to the principal's office because it was after Columbine in middle school, so they were always trying to find the next mass shooter at this point. They're like, he's weird. Your teacher sounds like an unfun fuck. Most teachers are. That's the truth. You like the new MK story, Scorpion Sub-Zero now, bros? I'm not paying any attention to Mortal Kombat, especially when they started taking themselves semi-seriously. With like a continuous storyline and bullshit like that. But more importantly, especially when they started censoring the boobs. I just want to see hot girls get brutally murdered. That was always the appeal. And when I would get bored of that, I would be okay with some guys getting murdered as well. But it was mostly just sex and violence in its most basic format. That's what I'm there for. I stopped caring about the lore. I mean, how can you fucking care about fighting game lore ever? Oh, here's my hot take for the stream. You know what fighting game has good lore and has a good story? Not really lore, but the story. Dead or Alive 4. I didn't think I would ever fucking say this, but Dead or Alive 4 has a good fucking story. If you were playing Dead or Alive from like 2, Dead or Alive 4 actually like takes the story and brings it to like a really nice conclusion. And they have Aerosmith playing in the background as Ayane and Ryu and all your favorite characters escape from the exploding Doatech building. And Christy is like, I'm gonna die, and they're like, no, don't die. And it's like, damn, this is actually like a really good way to end the whole story arc. Were you a fan of Cassie Cage and Spats, homie? I'm only interested in her mother. I just want to fuck her mom. Hashtag MILFs only. Oh, if this is the right decision. Stop fucking people's moms, bro. That's not what your mom said to me last night. Got him. I guess MK new aesthetic is part of the attempt to make video games seem a more respectable medium by eliminating the titillating elements. No, it's not to make video games seem more respectable. It's part of this weird hyper-leftist movement that we have in American culture, combined with all this ESG money that's been given away from these huge investment banks. I'm sure that's sort of the excuse that they tell themselves when they're making all these censorship decisions, but for some reason American culture in the past, I don't know, 12 years or so has moved far left. Not in terms of as a whole, but the left has moved farther left way more than the right has moved right. You only need to see Obama being like, I'm against gay marriage in his earlier stages of like campaigning and stuff to see how far we've moved left. So now like the people who are leftist artist types, which are the people who make our video games, have reached a point where they're really like, they're truly just fully into censorship. We talk about this like once per stream every single time, so there's really no point in going into it again, but I don't think it's anything as innocent as being like, oh, we need to make video games more respectable. Because if they want shit to be more respectable, you can't have fucking fatalities and people getting their spines ripped out, dude. There's nothing respectable about that. Parents aren't going to be like, oh, I thought that Timmy was playing a horrible misogynistic game, but now that I see that the women are wearing respectable attire that don't show cleavage, I've changed my mind, even though I also just saw that female character get her head torn off and then stuck in a blender. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh, this video game is art if you still have fucking fatalities. That's ridiculous. You can usually tell based on who supported Bernie or Hillary where they fall on the left spectrum. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure anybody really supported Hillary. I don't know if that was more of a political spectrum or more like just a sense of lethargy and just keeping it the same. Huge hairy legs. Yeah, the perspective might be a little weird. It's supposed to be, you know, closer to the camera, but there is a feeling that it's just like a really big guy. Maybe I need to move the elf or the legs so that there's some overlap instead. It does look a little weird. What if... You self-critique yourself so accurately. How the fuck you did that? I mean, this is the artist's eye. I was hoping that it would look like the legs were in the foreground instead of in the background, but I'm not actually doing perspective here. I'm sort of eyeballing it. Anyways, perspective doesn't really matter. How it feels is what matters, and if the viewer looks at the image and it's like, it looks like there's gigantic legs instead of there's legs closer to the camera, then you're kind of failing to do what you want to do. I'm going to keep the candle in its current position. Instead of trying to use gray, what if I use a different method of shading? What's a better sign of a worse movie, starring The Rock or the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was pretty good for a while. Now it's just a obvious red flag. But I don't know. I don't go to the movie theater anymore, so... What's the best Dwayne The Rock Johnson vehicle at this point? I think it might be, I think Rock movies might be worse than Marvel movies. Because at least in the case of the current Marvel movie, you can usually just like enjoy shitting on it. Whereas if you went to go see a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie, you're just asking for it. So you really have only yourself to blame. What am I looking for? There's Deadpool Wolverine. I mean, that's technically more of a Fox movie at this point still. If Ryan Reynolds has full creative control over it, it's probably still going to be pretty good. Let's do that. Yeah. This will have to do. Methinks. I wonder if Ball knows his chat on screen is paused. None of you guys actually say anything interesting anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're all fucking NPCs. I've been told before by you guys that you're all just like a chat bot and none of you are actually typing, so I'm not really worried if I miss any of the things you say. Please understand that I don't value your opinions to the least. You're not important to me. Free pussy in bio. Has any of you guys ever actually tried activating the free pussy in bio? I think I went to click to one of their the Twitter accounts that post that shit and I didn't see any free pussy. But maybe I was looking in the wrong place. The tsundere is off the charts today. Yeah. Did you get virus instead? I mean, I didn't leave Twitter. I guess I could just compensate for the tsundere by now being like super helpful and happy to you guys. Hey Chad, I love you so much. Love you so much, guys. You're the best. We still haven't figured out a good name to call the Ball Buddy chat. the Ball Boys. How about that? Out of character. He's not real. That's evil BB. You can tell he has a goatee and he's being nice to chat. Ugh. Ah. Blue balls. I've never experienced not jacking off long enough that I get blue balls. After like day 2 of no fap, it's just like, this is really bad for me. This is clearly a bad idea. We're not doing this. A lot of idiots that do no fap still jerk off but just stop before cooming, basically torturing themselves. I mean, do you really have to do that in no fap? Can you just I thought that was part of just the whole gooning culture right there. It makes you stronger. It eventually ends in cooming. Yeah, I would assume so. They're just prolonging the ejaculation, non-ejaculation period. Women will never understand women who can continue to coom multiple times and don't have a limited supply of coom. They will never understand our suffering. Isn't that right, chat? It's the same line of thinking that anal sex as a woman means you're a virgin. Ugh. They'll never know what it's like to hit your computer screen with a shotgun blast of cum. Don't joke about that. My uncle died when cum penetrated his skull. He was just an innocent glory hole user when a hot load of cum went through his eye and destroyed his brain. I'll never forget the guy who killed him, but unfortunately he's anonymous because it was a glory hole. Ball holding back the coom? Yeah, that's definitely me holding back the coom. No, it's actually just me stretching and drinking water. Six hot loads. Billy Senpai, but there's no way I can just come right now. Please. Instructor Billy. Don't make me calm. That was me, sorry. I thought it was because the cum formed an electrical arc and burned his innards. The same concept as pissing on an electrified fence. I actually frightened myself a few days ago. I cum at least twice a day, but I shotgun blasted. I don't know if I'm just getting healthier or what. In middle school and stuff, I had like a personally set up rule that I was only going to jack off every 8 hours. To make sure I wasn't wasting too much time. It's all a good memory now. Because I'm definitely not jacking off 8 hours when I'm 37 years old. We do not have that level of stamina anymore, sadly. What's your daily PR? I don't know, like 5 or 6 probably at the most. I think when I was in college and I didn't like anybody because it was too liberal, I just sat in my room and jacked off like all the time. Because like what else was I gonna do? It fucking sucked, so... I think the most I did in a short span was 3 times in like 3 hours or 4 hours or so. I was just like, you know what? I'm reading this manga and it's making me horny, so I'll just jack off. And then I went back to reading the manga and it made me horny again and I jacked off again. And I was like, well, I think I can do a 3rd time as well. It was a different time for me. What did you take in college? I don't know, worthless shit. Liberal arts degree. It did nothing, as you would expect. Wonderful time to enter the stream right now, but agreed. Luckily we don't have Hystrixia in here, because she would be like all dabbing on guys, being like, haha. You can only jack off a limited amount of times per day. She would be flaunting her female masturbation superiority, which really isn't fair. Women have no idea how much we men have to sacrifice to maintain the human race. We're literally killing ourselves to produce cum. And yet not a single word of gratitude. Sad, really. Real female privilege, yeah. The only woman whose depravity is comparable to BB's. My depravity isn't really that high, considering the other people in Discord. I'm actually a pretty normal person, if we're going by our Discord standards. We have all these disgusting foot coomers, so... and people with blatant humiliation fetishes and stuff, so... Needs to see a tag tier list ball? Eh. I haven't jacked off to anything particularly deviant recently, now that I think about it. Weird ass background music, LOL. This is like 80s techno something that YouTube keeps on recommending. I'm just like, whatever. Sure. Vanilla tag superiority always wins in the end. I definitely haven't jacked off to any NTR content recently. It's getting pretty stale. Part of the problem is that nothing feels depraved anymore in terms of my poor porn-riddled mind. I wish we could reset our memory selectively. That instead of having to play other video games, I could just replay Elden Ring again and again and experience it for the first time over and over. Similarly, I wish I could reset my porn brain just so I could jack off more. So I wish I could like experience the feeling of depravity and shame when I, you know, saw specific porn genres for the first time. Like there was a time when NTR was not the most common form of porn where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this girl that I am self-inserting as my wife is gonna get fucked by this other person, and you were shocked and horrified, and now it's just like, what? We're already on page 3. Why hasn't the housewife started cheating on her husband yet? What's taking so long? It doesn't make sense. The cucking surely must have begun by now. The fuck? Where's the music? YouTube. To see Bible Back for the first time again. I jacked off to Bible Black recently again for old time's sake. It's still just as relevant and usable as it was many years ago. Truly a classic. You know, a lot of our best movies that we think were like really good back in the day. If you watch them now, they're not really good, like Stagecoach and stuff. There's a lot of these movies that are probably on like the best movies of all time list that were made in like the 50s and 60s, and if you watch them now, you're like, it hasn't aged very well. But that's not the case with Bible Black. Bible Black is still just as masturbatable as it always was. It will forever be the cutting edge of ejaculation in my heart. I think IRL salarymen just fuck prostitutes. There's a reason why Japan has a syphilis outbreak right now. Too much prostitution. One of the interesting side effects of Japan being one of the most safest countries in the world is that women can basically do prostitution without having to worry very much about turning up as corpses in the local river or whatever. So they do a lot of prostitution now. And then they use that money to go to host clubs to feel better about the immense stress they're putting on their psyche by sleeping with ugly old men. And then the money goes to these hosts. So a lot of people on the internet were like, maybe the ugly old guys should just give their money directly to the host club, Ikemen, and then we could skip a step of the whole equation, which I thought was pretty smart. I thought the Japanese would all use condoms for my research using hentai. If you pay attention to the hentai condoms, they only use them to indicate as visual evidence that they all had a lot of sex with this woman, and they tie them onto her underwear and stuff like that. But there's not actually much evidence of them using condoms in your hentai. There's a lot more scenes where they're like, no, please, don't come raw. And he's like, haha, no. Condoms are in hentai only show up when they're balancing the load on their tongue inside the condom and like bouncing it up and down. They're tying the condom to the underwear as a visual indicator of how many times the woman has had sex, or when they force her to put on clothes and go to the local convenience store and buy like a pack of condoms. And then the convenience store worker is like, oh no, she's gonna have sex right now. He suffered a midlife crisis upon seeing how sexy the women were. He normalized when he returned to America. Stop talking about me. It wasn't even like sexiness. It was just like a longing for something I had lost. It was my desire to be a functional member of society is basically what was awoken in me when I was in Japan. But now that I'm back in America, I no longer want to be part of society because it's American society, so we're back to feeling okay again. Easy. You'll never be a salaryman. Give up and return to neatdom. I mean, I was a salaryman for, I don't know, 10 years? Basically 10 years. I'm not a salaryman anymore. You're gonna be a salaryman in America even though we don't really use that terminology. Yeah, you're not tricking me. How do you think it would feel if you're fighting a local American patriot with weird blonde hair and he beats the shit out of you and he's like, go home and be a family man. And you're like, I can't. I don't have a girlfriend. It would be extremely humiliating. On the other hand, you probably shouldn't fight someone like Guile. Smooth jazz background is the jet set yuppie backdrop, though. Why do you have so many comments about various music choices this stream? I don't fucking know, man. I'm just trying to make it look like these legs are in the foreground instead of really big. I think it's looking good. Your comic is awesome, on peak. Chapter 2 will be even better. Honestly, I didn't think Chapter 1 was that great, but it was just like an introductory episode. It's gonna get better from here. I love your comics. I saw your comic on different social platforms and I saw from Solus Astorius. Thank you. You're doing okay, that's right. I'm only mean to the regulars here in chat. People that come in with positive messages trying to tell me how much they love the comic are okay. Is she wearing a mask due to COVID? No, she's wearing a mask because she's a Dex shitter. And Dex shitters love wearing masks. You should know that. They're always throwing ninja stars and wearing masks and teleporting behind you and stuff. Dex shitter but no high heels. She has a ninja tabi. If you notice. See, the four toes and then the large toe are separate. This means, you know what this means. She can grab knives with her toes, like in Crying Free Man, and throw them using her feet. We are the syphilis on Baal's salaryman body. I think syphilis doesn't work like that. It's more like it's okay for a while, or it lies dormant for a really long time, and then it pops back up, and it's really fucking horrifying. You probably don't want to Google search syphilis, late stage syphilis or anything. Like your face fucking melts. Did you ever get COVID? I don't think so. It's kind of hard to tell. Apparently a moderate case reduces IQ by 2. Oh no, that will take me all the way down to 6. I don't want that. In all honesty, I have a pretty high IQ as a Rick and Morty enjoyer, so I don't want to make you guys feel intimidated, but I was hiding that from you. I know the average IQ in this chat is probably 150 or so, but I'm even smarter than that. Don't look in Google. Yeah, do not look up syphilis pics. It's not something you want to be looking at. As a dual language Japanese man, your high IQ is kind of high. I bet my IQ is right around like 100 or maybe slightly above 100 is my guess. If that's the average. On the other hand, maybe IQ is used to... Because I always did good in school. That's the thing. I was always very book smart. And I don't know how much IQ covers the other things. You know how they're always like... IQ tests are biased against our black Americans, blah, blah, blah. Shit like that. I kind of agree with that stuff. Because I'm someone who's always had like really good book smart scores, and I've always had like really bad thinking and processing power at stuff like different types of intelligence. As someone who played basketball, for example, I can't fucking process like, for example, one person is standing here and the other person is standing here, so I need to go over here, that kind of shit. I can't do it fast enough. Which of course would be like a really important part of your IQ if you were trying to survive in like caveman times and shit. So I do think that's a really important part of how, you know, our brains function. So honestly, book smarts aren't that very helpful. I was never book smart. I'm money smart, makes me more intelligent. I'm money smart in that I don't really waste my money. I don't really increase my money very much either, but I'm very cheap. IQ is used to segregate black people from greater society. Oh, thank God. Now we just need to segregate all the other people and make sure I don't have to meet anyone. And it will be mission accomplished. We're so close to having the ideal world in which I don't have to see anyone. I was working out last night in the middle of the night at Planet Fitness at like 3 a.m. because I don't want to see anyone. I want to be alone. And there were still 2 fucking teenage kids there who were doing the thing where like 2 guys show up at the gym, but they're there to just like chat with each other instead of like work out. I just fucking hate that shit. And I was just reading my mind. I was just losing it. Because I could hear them talk to each other while I was trying to focus on reading my isekai novels on the elliptical machine. I was just like, fuck, I'm here at 3 a.m. in the morning and there's still people here. You segregate yourself from your mother? I definitely have not done that, considering I still occupy her house. Do you ever listen to audiobooks? Not really. I've tried. There's a lot of nice free audiobooks, but it's not really my thing. When I want audio content, I listen to podcasts and stuff. But I'm thinking of buying noise-canceling headphones, because the Planet Fitness soundtrack that they have on 24/7 can get really grating. I have that thing, not that thing, but I have difficulty tuning out extra noise, which apparently is a sign of people at risk for more mental illness. My mother does not have this problem at all. I'm one of those people that, like, if there's someone chatting in the background, it fucking just drives me crazy, because I can't stop the voice from invading my psyche. It's like my eardrums are being raped by someone just mumbling shit to their colleague 20 feet away. Ball wants Japan's convenience store with no employees. Yeah, I think so. All the convenience stores when I went back to Japan like 2.5 years ago or whatever, they all newly had these self-serving registers, except there's 2 people standing there, but they're like, no, you have to use the self-service register. And I was like, oh, interesting. They all implemented these at the same time. Hold on, I have to take a piss. Be right back. Pee time. Oh! 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 does Ball's mom think of all this screaming, I wonder? I don't know. She doesn't understand streamer culture. She doesn't understand that I'm like a huge cult figure on the internet or something. I think that she thinks that I'm just unemployed and I don't make any money, which is kind of cool that she lets me still stay in her house without paying rent. She thinks she's failed as a mother. Yeah, I have nothing to show for all the millions of dollars she spent on my education, so the fact that she doesn't like beat the shit out of me just for that says a lot about how tolerant she is. On the other hand, I am taking care of this incredibly annoying cat while she's gone in Japan right now, so I don't really think I have to apologize for anything. This cat is super annoying. She really, 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 really cares about you giving attention to her. You didn't want to go to Japan? I don't really have any excuse to go to Japan. If I would be going to Japan, I'd be basically going on my mother's budget. And she's okay with that, but there's a high chance that we'll be going back to Japan in the fall and winter, because then the contractor will show up and work on my room and stuff. So if that's happening, then it'll be only 6 months between the last time I went to Japan, if we go back to Japan when the contractor shows up. So for that reason, I don't think I want to go right now. Also, it's very uncomfortable to be in Japan right now. Please understand, Tokyo is 10,000 degrees. It's basically hotter than the surface of the sun with more humidity, so if I can avoid that shit, then I think I'd rather go in the winter or fall. There is a chance you would find a wife there, true. But I feel like if I actually did find a wife, I'd deeply regret my decision. I don't think I'm really built for having normal human relationships. And when I try and do it, I think I'm just cosplaying as a normal human. Like, I think I'm just wearing a skin, a human skin. Do you still think like your kid self? Yeah. Basically. I think I'm more desensitized, at least. Isn't that everyone? Nah. I don't think it's everyone. Not to my level. Bigger neats than you found themselves with hot Asian wives? I'm not talking about whether I could find a wife or not. I'm thinking that, like, even if I did find a wife, I would be unhappy. Like, I was just complaining about how emotionally needy the cat was, but a lot of people would enjoy that the cat was bugging them and really enjoyed it when they petted it. But I don't really feel anything. I just feel like I'm servicing the animal. I'm the cat's service animal. There's a lot of things that I'm like, this isn't what I should be feeling if we're going by like standard extrovert procedures. Which is why I think I might be a skinwalker. Someone like Ball getting into a relationship would be horrible because you don't suddenly change who you are once you become engaged. All you can do is try to adopt. It would have to be a woman who is extremely, extremely tolerating about my personality stuff. If she was someone who expected me to be the one who was like empathetic and servicing her emotions, the relationship would be over within like 2 days. Because she'd be like, why aren't you paying attention to me? I'd be like, why is how you feel my problem? And that would be it. Would she get half of your manga in the divorce? That's another thing. I don't want to have a relationship with someone and then like for a year and then they get to take all my shit when they leave. That's bullshit. Like, I don't care how many women are suffering because their husband is fucking their secretary and they get cut off after taking care of the kids their entire life. I understand that's how the laws work, why they're in place, but as someone who doesn't have that problem, like, that shit is really bad for me. You can't just be like, I'm gonna try and be in a relationship and then be like, nah. If they're gonna be allowed to take all of your money and shit, that's it seems like a really bad deal. Marriage talk instantly goes to NTR. I didn't say anything about NTR. I said I didn't want to be with the person. My implication was I was going to divorce them because I couldn't stand being around another human being or something. If you assume that the reason my marriage is ending is because my wife is fucking another guy, I don't think you truly understand me. You don't understand the depths of my antisocial personality tendencies. Again, I was at Planet Fitness last night in 3 in the morning, and I was fucking reeing and losing my mind because I could hear the mumbled voices of some people talking about 30 feet away from me. When I'm in that, like, Asperger mode, when I want to be alone, like, it truly is, like, I have to be, like, really alone. And how the fuck are you going to sustain a relationship like that? The laws are from times when women couldn't work and would be left with nothing in divorce. Yeah. It's kind of bullshit if, I don't know, you're a professional athlete and then a woman who basically wasn't really doing anything to earn you your money suddenly gets to become a billionaire or something just because you were cheating on her or some shit like that. I think that's kind of stupid. At his peak, his wife divorced him and he was paying $50,000 a month to him for 10 years. Yeah, that's just crazy. Move to a shack, paint and be happy. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing right now, right? Brendan Fraser had to pay taxes on that money. That shit is crazy, man. I don't want to be a men's rights activist, especially because these problems don't actually affect me directly, but you can understand where some of that shit comes from. I have saved up a lot of money by aggressively not moving out of my mother's household. So if a woman could just take that just because I was married to her for a brief period of time, that would be extremely bad. Marriage does come across as a scam when shit hits the fan, which is why our birth rates are plummeting. Once we took away the fear of God in people and it was like, yeah, you don't have to get married and have kids. God won't smite you. The effects have been disastrous. Alright, I think this looks about good enough. Did Japan have a fear of God like that? No, people just fucked without condoms and the population increased naturally. That's just how it tends to work. I joined the stream and the first thing I see is rocks in a cave. I am satisfied. We're doing lots of stalagmites and stalactite drawings in this. This is the life of drawing drow. Is just drawing lots of rocks and stuff. Good thing us incel chads don't have to deal with any of that. It really do be like that, isn't it? We're insulated and safe until we receive our mandatory Japanese waifu from the Japanese government to repopulate the country. Is this cave hot or cold? Cold. We're exposing our navel and tummy despite the cold environment because of, I don't know, fashion. I don't think marriage is a scam. People don't know what they want from a relationship most of the time when marrying. You need to learn to live with each other first before considering such a long-term compromise. Getting tax benefits for being married is kind of a scam, though. It's rewarding people that already have more than the jobless neets such as us. Alright guys, that was a pretty short stream, but I'm about to pass out from being sleepy, so I'm going to end the stream here. I've been drawing for 7.5 hours today. I wanted to stream a bit more because the temperature is actually pretty good today, but I'm about to fall asleep, so yeah, good night guys, see you around.